We're recording.
We are? Was it recording?
Yep.
So this is the Laugh at Everything podcast. This week we are sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Are we?
Diet Coke. With
the one that looks like a Michelob.
blueberry acai. What is acai? Does anyone know? Oh my god.
I thought it was acai. I don't know what it is.
Oh goodness. So what we didn't see there was we're setting up for the podcast for about 3 hours now, and
I'm sorry. Shit.
And I told Josh that I wanted to do that bit just because it's really stupid. It's one of the dumbest things I've done in a long time, and he was okay with it. So that's
everyone wondering what that tearing noise was. It's me eating beef jerky.
Yeah, he's eating beef jerky, and I've got the cola. So
also we're Josh and Wes.
Oh yeah, he's Josh and
I'm
Wes.
Josh. Yeah.
You're Josh?
I think
you want me to be Josh and you can be Wes?
No, because I don't want you to put words in my mouth. It's dangerous.
That's smart,
It's dangerous territory.
Yeah, it is, but also, isn't life more fun, a little dangerous?
I'm sorry.
No?
You're not correct.
No, I can't be Josh because Josh is wearing a shirt that says pretentious on it, and I don't want to I don't want to broadcast my generation status out there.
I wore it's actually a Philly DeFranco
Who's
merch
that?
shirt.
Who?
One of the best YouTubers ever.
What are you talking about? Vsauce is...
Oh my god.
So, so you're repping somebody else's podcast. Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't have a podcast. So
Wow.
He might.
He better not.
He might actually.
Who is this other bitch in this podcast?
Yeah, Philly DeFranco is pretty cool. He talks about news stories.
Yeah. I like news stories.
He's really I don't want to say intelligent because he is, but I don't mean intelligence in that way. I mean he's very grounded and he has a really interesting viewpoint, and I love to hear about it. And he's very encouraging to get your news sources from multiple places, and don't just have a crowd think for yourself, and and if you find yourself listening to him too much, maybe you should listen to everyone else too. Don't just focus on one news source. Get it from everywhere so you can have everyone's bias.
So, I'm kind of against that. I think you should stick directly just with a single news source, and it should probably be Fox News.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You can get the fuck out of that.
So I'm really cynical right now because
right now
I'm more cynical than my normal cynicism.
Yeah,
right
Wes is
now.
pretty cynical.
The reason is I've been listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Alex Jones.
Oh my god! Actually, Jordan was talking about that, and they were talking he showed me a screen grab, a recording.
Yeah.
Of whenever Alex
a screen grab, but of their voices.
Yeah,
what's that called?
It's fucking recording. It's
so
crazy. Well, Alex was screaming at him because they were talking about maybe the Sandy Hook.
Oh yeah,
and his comments on Sandy Hook.
Don't spoil it too much because I'm only an hour out of 4 in.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, no, he from what I've experienced, Alex Jones just yells at people. The whole time he's just yelling at Joe Rogan. Thing is, he's very animated about what he's very, very passionate, and I think that's going to draw people away from him. Not that I'm Alex Jones, if you need podcast advice, please please come to us. Not that you've got millions of listeners or on the Joe Rogan Experience or whatever.
He's nothing.
And I was listening to that, see how a decent podcast does.
You fucking traitor.
Just to see how how close we are to them, and honestly, we're basically better, which is
You're too much.
Joe Rogan's got 200,000 or multiple. I don't know how many listeners he's got for all of his podcasts, but I'm gonna assume it's a lot because Joe Rogan's a really funny guy, and also he's smart.
He's a pretty grounded dude. Yeah.
But so it's like when you're cheating, not cheating, but when you're looking on the smartest kid in the class's paper just to make sure that you got the right answer, and you just kind of go back and change a few to most of yours to match theirs. That's what it is, you know.
Oh,
we're doing stuff right. I want to make sure that he's doing stuff right at the same time, just so that, you know,
in the same way as
right in the same way that we're doing the same thing right. I want to make sure that
you're literally admitting to like stealing.
I want to make sure Joe's okay. You know, famous Joe Rogan over here, and we've got like 2 concurrent listeners, one of which is my mom. You know, I want to make sure Joe's doing it right. You gotta look out for your fellow human. You know?
Yeah, dude, it's great.
As I take a swig of Diet Coke,
Michelob.
So, really quick, I want to just tangent. The Diet Cokes have a bunch of different flavors now,
Yeah, I saw that.
and one of them is the blueberry.
Acai.
Okay, yep, that one. I am like a fanatic about blueberry flavored items.
Like anything?
Yeah, like blueberry flavored cake is my favorite donut flavor from In-N-Out, and
Really? Oh, man, mine's
like
the opposite.
I go in spells. It's like right now I'm like super craving. I don't want to say craving, but like blueberries like my thing.
Blueberry everything.
And I can't even say it right because I keep saying blueberry. It's, you know, my big fat tongue. Anyway, so I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, and yeah, Alex Jones likes to scream at people. Oh, you're doing something on your phone. What is this?
Acai.
Acai?
Yeah.
All right. The AI says acai, so AI acai. We're gonna go with that. But no, Alex Jones likes to he's very passionate, we'll say, and I think that
Yes.
so. We play a game called Secret Hitler in the office every now and then, and you know it's a game about lying and deception. And basically, you have these 2 opposite sides, and one of them is in secret, trying to take over in the board game. And
What
the
a good
other
game.
is
What a
trying
good game.
to not. So one thing I've learned about that is that if you are vehemently against someone or something because you know the truth, that depending on how aggressive you are with it, people just write you off as crazy.
Yeah, no, of course.
And so, like, my example is there's one time Devin was fascist.
And did I call it out?
No. Like, I got to see his party membership, so I saw physically, saw that he was fascist, and I was like over there beating on the table and ranting and raving. I was like, "Devin's fascist. You're not gonna, you're all not gonna believe me. I'm going crazy and blah 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 and all these things." And everyone at the table on the opposite side of Devin,
like,
who I was on their team, they're like, I don't know, you sound kind of crazy. I don't want
to. Yeah.
So they decided against me. Fascists took over. We lost. That's how it is. I think Alex Jones is, he is very passionate about a lot of things. I think if I could just offer some professional advice from one podcaster to
Go ahead, dude.
from someone with a platform to someone also with a platform,
Yes.
If you're wanting to get your ideas out and they are actual crazy ideas, because like just an hour in, I'm already just like, all right, F it, let the funky faced alien men take over and just rule everything, and we'll just one day we'll just die, and then one day the star will burn out and nothing will matter. Nothing will ever matter, and that'll be it. So
it's like what you're talking about with Wendy.
Yeah, just might as well, get it over with. Let's just
It's just end it all.
dreading the thing is actually going to be worse than the thing itself. So let's just go ahead, man. No, he's over there. So far what I've gotten through, and spoiler alert if you haven't listened to that, and for some reason you're listening to this. He's talking about how they harvest organs from babies that are like
the babies that survive abortion,
right? Or they get born and the mother's like, oh yeah, or they tell the mother that it died during childbirth, and then they keep it alive for like a little bit longer.
That's some high level conspiracy shit. Like you have to really have no hope for humanity or like humans as a whole to believe that anyone could like actually do that.
Yeah, no, they get into it, and like I said, I've only gotten like an hour or so in, and he explains all of it,
Oh God. Okay.
and it's a lot to listen to, and if you don't come at it with a healthy dose of this guy's probably crazy, if you take any of it to be truth, like I
Down
do,
the rabbit
because
hole you go, yeah.
And once you're down that rabbit hole, that's it, you know. And I'm really bad because I have to stay away from the rabbit hole, like, you know, alien conspiracies and like ancient aliens and all these things, you know. That's just something that my brain will not let go of, you know. And they're talking about like taking psychoactive drugs to open like dimensional gateways in your mind to the other dimensions, and he's talking about Sandy Hook, but he mentioned Sandy Hook a little bit, and like he's kind of screaming about Sandy Hook. Mostly, what I've experienced so far on that is that he's talking about like, all these other conspiracies, and each one is significant. You know, you get through the first one, you're like, okay, this guy's probably nuts. And then you get through like the second one, you're like, yeah, this guy's nuts. And then the third one, you're like, why am I listening to this? And
Yeah,
the
like,
fourth one, you're like, oh god, we've got to stop them from harvesting organs from babies. This is crazy. And it's still like my mind is melting. You know,
it definitely brings up the topic of like, why give him the platform?
well, that's what Joe Rogan says in the very beginning. He's like,
really?
people keep asking me, why do I give you a platform? He's like,
okay, I didn't see. I haven't watched it.
you know, honestly, at this point, I'm only an hour in. Like I say, I don't remember what Joe said. But it seemed like a good reason at the time, and I was like, yeah, Joe, you're right.
Yeah, I feel like my reason would be like, people can hear this batshit crazy like stuff, and form their own opinion, hopefully.
But
their own educated
so the thing
opinion
is,
about it.
you know, it's hard to take what he's saying seriously because it is so far fetched, and
I mean, I
so
feel like he's
crazy.
a character. Like, let's be honest, it's a caricature. It's all just.
I mean, and it could be, or the guy.
I really hope it is.
Like, there's two possibilities here. He's number one, it's a character, and he's doing it all for a bit, and he's doing it all for attention, and or I guess there's three possibilities.
He's making
this one, and he's just doing it for the loss. The second one is he's schizophrenic and crazy, and he's been on some trips or
I didn't
whatever.
think about that.
And he believes it to be true, but it's not. And then the third possibility is that it's all true, and we're all fucked. And it's hard to live with that reality, you know.
I wouldn't go that far.
So, especially as someone who, you know, I don't want to say too much. As someone who thinks that there are aliens out there, you know, and it really just makes me wonder, like, what could they want with humanity? You know, why would they? They're talking about, you know, basically turning people into sheep and, you know, mass controlling and making the giant population stupid. And number one, we're already there. Number two, why? Have you ever tried to herd a bunch of uneducated, like if you've got a bunch of dogs in a pack and none of them are, you know, well trained, have you tried controlling them, you know, like wild dogs? I never have, but from what I've read, it's very difficult, you know. And obviously if they're a actual pack, they're going to listen to like their pack leader or whatever. Right. But what I'm talking about is like if you've got like a bunch of different animals and you're trying to just control them all.
Yeah, I understand the parallel that you're making.
Like, what's the point? You want a whole bunch of uneducated people. Why? What does that get you? At the end of the day, you know, does that get you more people to bring you your sweet tea when it's empty, or
sweet Southern style sweet tea?
Yeah, I don't understand. But you know, if they,
I think about it like, as much as a possibility that there are aliens that are like way advanced, there's also a possibility that aliens are like way primitive compared to us. So I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's both, but I really can't get into this because we're going to go down the rabbit hole. I think we did this on like the second or third with John, you know, it's just bad stuff. Really, what I'm trying to say is that I want Alex Jones to know that if he wants people to take him seriously and not like a crazy person, then he's going to have to stop acting like a crazy person.
You know, I feel like it's just not on his agenda.
Yeah. To stop acting like a crazy person?
Yeah, to even give a semblance of sanity. But that's fine. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that that's fact or whatever.
Oh, by the way, this podcast is not actually sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yeah, if you get Coke to sue us.
Yeah, I never mentioned. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. Actually, did you hear about that? Some Instagram creators and stuff, they're like actually like faking that they're actually sponsored.
I mean, yeah.
Just to get clout.
Yeah, that's...
that is the funniest.
We're sponsored by Nike.
That is... oh, that is the funniest thing to me.
Just do it. Or don't. Whatever you want.
Just please don't sue us.
Yeah. Or do, You're not going to get very much,
You'll get a judgment, that's about it, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you'll win, what? I got 38 cents to my name? Go ahead.
We're making nothing off of these, so who cares?
You want it? Well, yeah, just sign me up. I'm ready to be the sheep. I'm ready to stop worrying about all these things,
Yeah.
Just ready to serve our alien overlords or whatever it is,
Just let it flow, man. Just let it go.
At the end of the day, you're gonna die, and really, what's the point?
God, that's so
What's the point? Oh my
that is
God.
so negative.
Yeah, it is.
I am of the opposite sense. It's like there's a point to everything.
Like, really, in my mind, I just say, okay, what's the point of today? Why am I coming to work? Well, it's because I don't like the chemical signals that my stomach sends my brain when my stomach doesn't have sustenance in it. And I don't like it when my extremities are reporting to my brain that they're cold, so they like to be warm. And that's really the ultimate reason why I come in and I sit in front of a computer for 9 hours a day.
Those are two of many many reasons.
That's like basically it, I'm hungry and I want to not be, and I'm cold and I want to not be. And that's ultimately the reason why. Nothing else really matters here.
I mean, yes.
And so once you die, you're not hungry anymore and you're not cold.
Right. Sorry for any of this that gets picked up.
Oh my God. No, we actually, I love beef. He's eating beef jerky right now, and I like beef jerky. It's just so expensive. Like that bag that you just ate, like
$8.
Yeah, that's a meal.
I know.
You could get Johnny's lunch buffet for $8.
$7.59 without tax because this is Louisiana.
Yeah, but there's like a 15% sales tax here, which is ridiculous. It's not 15%, but it might be in Reston. Like,
Hashtag college.
so yeah, no, Reston is raising their tax rate now to accommodate for the new Hobby Lobby and stuff that's being built because we're big city folk now. We've got a Hobby Lobby,
big city folk,
and an Ulta. Ooh, oh my!
Oh, what? Five Below is the other one.
There's a few of them coming in there. Yeah,
I'm hyped.
I know that we've jumped around here a lot.
Yes, as always, honestly.
And we are sorry about that. There's a few times where
I'm not. It's just natural.
It is.
We
but
don't
also,
finish shit.
I don't want, it's like Wendy said, I think she said it last week, that, there was a story that no one can remember now that she wanted to know the ending of, and then all of a sudden, we don't say it. It's just like,
I know.
what she doesn't realize is that it's all part of the plan. We're going to come back 3 weeks from now, keep her on the hook. Like, by the way, podcast 5. 30 minutes in, when we said blah, 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 what we actually meant to say when we finished it was this. And just had that whole big mind blow. It's like, when the writers for Futurama have episode 1, and when he falls into the cryo pit or whatever, you see Nibbler's shadow, and you don't get that revealed that it's Nibbler. Or, really, I didn't even notice it until they pointed it out, and I had to go back and look at it, and it's like, oh my God, it's there. Like a 5-season question, but people that are more attentive than I am saw it.
We're like, what the?
And like, oh my God, it's a weird shadow or whatever. So it's like, that risk reward payoff type thing. That's what we're doing. So if we
we have a plan.
We've got this planned out. We've got spreadsheets, we've got notes. It's definitely not a microphone and computer and two morons sharing their experiences.
I was thinking about podcast 1032.
Yeah?
We finally reveal.
Oh, you're thinking short game, huh? I was thinking like number 2,500,837.
Do you know how many days? We don't live that long.
As far as you know.
Future me just pops up, right?
Yeah.
You're like, yes, we do.
Yeah, by the way, Noah, if we ever did figure out a way to, extend human life, I don't think it would be good. Mm-hmm. Because I think you'd have these like really rich, powerful tyrants just living forever, and then all the... It's like that movie where, you use time as currency, and they're basically hoarding... Rich people are like hoarding time or whatever.
It reminds me of like In Time or like Altered Carbon. Or like that kind of, immortality. But shifting gears to.
Is that what that sound was? Was the?
No, that was me clearing my throat.
It sounded like shifting gears though. That's really funny.
Oh, I'm very
Like
happy.
you know when you shift gears, and you go.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't ever grind.
Oh well, well. I guess I just showed my generational. I just exposed it. I'm millennial. I'm sorry. I don't know how to drive stick. What is this?
Help. But shifting to like time travel,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'm making a rule for myself right now. If time travel is real, you're about,
See, that's
you're, no,
not
no, no,
gonna
you're
work.
about to be amazed. Okay, you're about to be
It's
amazed.
not gonna work.
Just hang on.
I'm waiting.
I will come back right now to this instant.
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
Why?
Because if you come back to this moment, it's likely that you're going to alter time in such a way that time travel is not
think
going
so?
to be a possible thing. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Because let's think about this.
I think about time as a closed loop. Like time travel is a closed loop. That's the thing. It's like there's so much open like time
I mean,
travel.
yeah. How could it be a closed loop?
How couldn't it be?
Well, all right, no, you're going to have to explain this.
To lead up to the events that created time travel,
You have to have time.
it had to
travel.
have happened.
Right.
already.
Well, it can't if it hasn't happened yet.
But it,
This is the paradoxical nature of time travel.
exactly.
So that's what I think. Because of this paradoxical nature, that I think that time travel will be very heavily enforced and very restrictive and very
Will
sort
be.
of
You're
in-
saying that it's possible.
in
It's
the
not.
shadows. Well,
We need a black hole and we can't survive that
I
quite
mean,
yet.
as far as we know, we can't survive it.
Oh my god, we can't.
Look, there's so many things that we don't
the
understand.
amount of G's that are forced upon the poor soul that enters a black hole.
Yeah, well, that's just because we don't know how to harness gravity yet.
Planets can't even tolerate it. You tell me a human could.
No, that's because planets are stupid. What is a planet? Just a collection of atoms that's
Of
floating
this-
around in space,
Yes.
sitting there all hunky dory, like, oh, boo, I'm a planet.
Oh yeah, but one human's got it. You know.
Well, I mean, has a planet ever created thermonuclear weapons? No.
I'd argue that the sun has its
No,
beat.
the sun has, but a planet hasn't.
I'd argue that the sun and every like noxious planet has its beat. Yeah.
Why? Why noxious?
Like because they're toxic and like it'll.
That doesn't
kill you.
mean that they've created these weapons.
I think they are these weapons. Is that better than creating this?
No, because having a knife is different than knowing how to create a knife.
I disagree.
Okay. If I throw you out into the woods
Sure.
and I say, okay,
Here's a knife, and here's how to make a knife.
No,
Which one will help you more?
No,
the
right,
knife.
I say, here's a knife,
Uh-huh.
go, survive or whatever. But if I say, go ahead and make a knife, which one's more difficult? Because to make a knife, you're going to have to probably kill an animal to get some leather for the wrap. And I'm talking about like a good knife.
Refine some steel, get a
Yeah,
blacksmith.
right. You're going to have to create an anvil, a forge. Whereas you've got just this knife before, on the other way, you can start using the knife, of course.
So which one's better in general? Having the knife.
Right, but I'm saying which one's more difficult to get to.
So it's worse.
It's no. It's better to be able to make the knife as far as
Sure.
your technology
sure
progression.
I agree, but like
So the sun is just way it just does. It's the sun is just a
we
dumb.
have sidetracked. We're
It's
literally
a big dumb animal that's just going about its life as it's supposed to. The only reason that it exists in the first place is because a bunch of atoms got together and like, hey, let's get to know somebody, and they
what
got
if we blew
real
up?
tight, yeah. And they got so tight together that they started exploding into other atoms, which caused more explosions, which is, from what I understand, and I could be very wrong here, nuclear fusion.
nuclear fusion.
They just do that by themselves because of how dense the sun is. We have figured out a way to create and emulate that power, nuclear power, synthetically, which I think is a far superior way. You know what I mean? Like this thing that's just doing its thing out in space, or we are making this thing happen.
I mean, sure.
What were we even talking about? Why are we talking about this? What the fuck?
We started
That's what I'm talking about. Down the rabbit hole with Alex Jones. This is ridiculous. Like,
what? We jumped all the way back to that?
the bottom line is nothing matters. We're all gonna die. I just want to be comfortable. Damn it. That's it. I just want to be fat, dumb, and happy. You know, and then the people that want all their power over my fat, dumb, happy self, just give it to them. You know, to the my cell phone's listening right now. Just whatever. What is it you want? I'm not going to spend any more money than I have, and even then, I'm only going to be able to spend a certain amount of money more than I'm able to obtain before they cut me off. You know,
cut you off like.
The bottom line is, like, the top 1% have 99% of the wealth of the world.
I don't know if those are accurate.
Just go target them. You're going to get a lot more money from them. And it's going to be a lot easier to sway them than it is going to be to sway, 50 million people. And even then, 50 million people, on average, we'll say have $100,000 a year, which is, that's not the case for me or anybody that I know.
Actually, that's an interesting topic. Do you believe that wealth should be distributed? Because I don't.
Oh, I think after a certain point. So there's a 70% income tax bill coming out, or being proposed, that I'm actually a huge proponent of. I say huge proponent. I don't really get into politics that much, and I think I probably should. Probably be better. Not that it really matters that much, because corporations own everything anyway. My real cynical worldview. I think if you can't live off of $10 million a year, and you're worried that you're going to be poor or something, then. Yeah, no, I absolutely think that should be regulated. Once you make over a certain amount of money, what do you need that for anymore?
Yeah.
As a species, if we have 15 people left at the end of the world because they're the only ones who could afford to live after we've destroyed our planet so bad, how does that help humanity?
I'm hearing what you're saying, and I respect it, and I understand, and I agree with a lot of it. But the thing is the whole premise of the way that our free economy is built is voluntary action. Hang on. People voluntarily get a transaction with Microsoft or with Amazon. Voluntarily, it's all. No one's stealing money. No one's taking it. No one's Amazon and Microsoft aren't taking money or stealing money. It's theirs. They've earned it in a lot of ways, and a lot of luck, and a lot of know-how and knowledge and finesse, or whatever you want to call it. But they've earned that money, and I feel like it should be heavily encouraged for them to do philanthropy and reinvest in the economy and help everyone. Sure, but you should look at property value, actually everything that they hold, not their income. And you should tax that, not what they made that year, I feel like. Because if you take account into what they own and what they are actually... Because the income for the whole year is going to be... I want to say less than what they all have as a whole. Amazon, let's say Jeff Bezos, I think his name is. He's the richest guy, right?
One of them, yeah. One of them.
You're holding back, so I need to know what you're saying. Input.
Oh, I just want you to finish your
thought. Because for the whole year, the income, I think a 70% income tax on all of their income wouldn't benefit the economy and the community and everyone in the middle class as much as a substantial, here, you live in so much excess, like you say, you don't need 3-4 houses. You should be willing to pay for having that spot, you're holding that away from people. And as far as I don't believe that, actually, but a lot of people do believe that they're taking away from what other people could have. And I get that sentiment for sure. They're uber rich, and they should have to pay for all that they're holding, and all that's in their grasp, and everything that they own is so so excess and so like not needed. You don't need more than, like you said, 10 million, of course, to live. But they've earned it through these voluntary transactions, and they should be willing to pay the property taxes and like the ownership of all of that excess. And I feel like that would benefit the community more in a more moral way. It's just my thoughts.
On paper, I agree. You know, I think that what you earn, you should be able to keep. Obviously, you earned it, you know. In actuality, if you've got 10 starving people, or 9 starving people and one person with 10 burgers, and you lock them in a room together, it's not going to matter that that person earned those burgers rightfully.
Sure, but that's the system that we've set up, is that it does matter.
For now.
What, you're going to revolt the whole system? That's ridiculous.
I am not, but I mean, look at revolutionary France.
Sure.
Where the rich are basically saying, well, they're hungry, why don't they eat cake? Well, it's because we can't even afford basic food, much less luxury items like cake. And that's what happens is they overthrew the entire government, because ultimately that's what's going to happen, you know. And really what's going to happen is that either we're going to get to this point where nobody's got anything except for like the top 1%, for example, and they're going to revolt and overthrow them and, you know, redistribute that, so to speak. Or the top 1% is just going to obliterate everyone else and not have to deal with it. And then what? How does that help humanity? Where are we then?
I don't agree that it would ever get that far.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Why? You think
because they're humans and they care.
No.
Why wouldn't they?
Have you not seen anything, like any natural disasters? Like, look at Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Just as an example, that was 13 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. When I would say that people weren't nearly as cynical or jaded as they are now. I think now people are real cynical and real.
Sure, but a lot of people in the top 1% helped, Wes. They did a lot. They did more than Bush did at the time.
Helped a little bit, but I don't think nobody really fixed a problem.
Well, of course, it's not their job to. They're offering. The job is on the president, and
I don't know if the job is on the president as a whole. I think we put too much stock on the president.
I disagree. I think we used to, and we should.
I think if we put so much stock on a single person, our system's bound for failure.
We put a stock in the government as a single entity, but not just the president, you know.
Well, I mean, everybody blames the president for, you know, whatever he's doing.
Shit, not now.
I mean, yeah, if you look at our current president, he's kind of a moron, and thank God he can't do more, you know.
But I would say, I don't want to get off topic. I would parallel, like, look at all that Bill Gates is doing and Melinda Gates. Like, they're doing great, great work, and they're giving back a lot.
But they're one out of the many, though. There's literally no one else.
There's a lot of people that do philanthropy at Wes.
It's because they literally have nothing else to do with their money.
Well, good for them. Like, I don't understand.
I get it to a certain point, you know, but what it boils down to is that we're running out of natural resources. We've got these giant corporations blaming basically the population for doing that. And I guess it's kind of our fault because we're buying into it. So ultimately, in 100 years or 200 years, when we've expunged everything that we can and we've used it all up, what then? Whereas now we could redistribute, we could collect, we could, you know, revitalize.
Redistribute what?
Well, just resources, you know?
What do you mean?
For example, no one's fixed Flint, Michigan's water system.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the government's failing.
But that's the problem is these rich people aren't part of the government. The government can only do what it can do, you know? And that's assuming you have a perfect government that's actually willing for the people, whereas most of our government now is out just to line their own pocketbooks.
I don't know about that. That's an extremely cynical view.
They're basically, we're all on the Titanic, and you've got these people they're rich enough to have their own, you know, lifeboats. And you've got a government, this collection of people, you know, we'll say 10 people over 50 people that get these 50 people in a room. Or the government, you know, they get together with these 10 people and they go, okay, hey, we're going to get out of this. We're going to build our own lifeboat.
I don't think so.
We need to take the resources from 50 other people to get that done.
I respect that view.
Let's tell them that we're going to be building everyone lifeboats, but we're only building it for ourselves. And by the time, everything's sinking. We're in a lifeboat. They're
So
dead.
what are you
What does
saying
it
that the
matter?
1% should do about Flint then?
Well, I'm saying the fact that it's still not fixed means that we can't rely on rich people to philanthropically help us out in our time of need.
Of course. That's not what they're supposed to do. That's not their job.
Right,
The job
I
is in
think-
the government, who we elect.
Very, very similar to how it's illegal to use mustard gas in combat now. Like we've come together as a world and said, "Hey,
Some
this-
of us.
Well, yeah, but a substantial part of the world, the UN, has come together and said, "This is not okay as human beings." And there's a couple things we've done like that, where like nobody can own a celestial body, no single country can,
Yeah.
It's things that we've come together and decided as a race, as a species, of this is not okay. And when you have people with this much power that, they literally can buy governments.
Can they?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't think so.
God. Really?
Why would they?
The whole right to repair action right now.
Go into it.
So, do you know what the right to repair is? I mean,
Explain.
it's pretty self-explanatory as far as
Okay.
do you have the right to take a device that you own and function with it and fiddle with it and fix it for a smaller fee or do it yourself or whatever, or do you have to take it to its manufacturer to get it fixed? And basically, it's do you even have the right, this thing that you own, do you have the right to do anything with this? Or will that void its warranty?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my point, just not to get off topic, but just like putting my point out there for that topic, is if you buy and you like basically are offered this transaction, this voluntary transaction of a phone, like say Apple, and in the terms of service for Apple, it says you cannot alter this phone. You're like submissive in that purchase, I feel like that's where they would get you,
I so disagree though, because that's how they.
Yeah, no, there's a very different, like your own right to property. Those clash, of course, and that'll be fought in court, And is that what's going on right now?
I from what I understand, yes.
Yeah.
That is. And so, there's these huge companies that are lobbying, and paying anyone and everyone that they can, paying it off. That's why net neutrality died, or is in the process of dying, is because ISPs have a monopoly, and it's just now is considered it's almost considered a not like a privilege, but like a right to have access to this information.
Like water.
Right. They're basically killing that to where they can control everything, and they're doing that through money and buying people. Our government's not really working. It doesn't work for the people. It works for the rich people.
I don't think so, Wes. I just don't. You can't ever kill me on like the positivity. There's so much good that happens.
There's a difference between positivity and realistic, right?
Sure, of course.
Like I don't want to kill your positivity.
What I'm saying is, tell me another government that's doing it perfect.
Well, I don't know enough the government's doing it perfect. I don't know that any government is going to be able. I know that.
Yeah.
If you look at the Nordic nations, they're doing pretty well. And they've got a lot of really good things.
They are. And that works perfectly for their culture and like their.
But that's the thing. Our culture is everyone's culture.
It's different. And it's very, very delicate. And that's why I feel like, as much hope as I have, I feel like we're doing a damn good job. Not as perfect as we should, but we're doing a good job. That's my thoughts. And I think it's only through like our elected officials we can just make it better and better over time. And sure, we have downtimes but it gets better over time.
See, the thing is, people become politicians, I think, now to get that power because they recognize that, becoming a politician and becoming well known is going to be able to give you that power. And for politicians like Trump, like that's all they care about. They don't care about people. They don't care about taking babies away from their mothers, which is crazy. There's a whole bunch of things that may or may not have happened. That I just feel like politicians basically are in it for themselves. And
so, do you have a problem with the 1% or the government?
Really, with both.
What?
I think if we don't come together as a society, as a human, as a race, and say these are the things that we need to change immediately, and we need to come up with an action plan. And obviously, there's not going to be any good way to do that,
Yeah, there's no way to do that.
any one view. And that's kind of where we're running into the problem now, is that everyone's got a different opinion on how it should be run.
The fact that we could even get everyone to the table is too hopeful.
Right. That's basically what I'm saying is we're doomed as a species, you know? Unless we have a species come in and say, for example, aliens come in and say, okay, you guys are too immature right now to lead your own thing. You're going to be taken over and controlled by us until we deem you can figure it out. And like if you look at the human race and you compare it to like a human life cycle, it just seems like before we were crawling, you know, like technology wise, we have the wheel, we have these sharp pointy sticks that we can use to make our stomachs stop sending messages that we're hungry. And then for, you know, thousands of years, you live in rudimentary living conditions with, you know, not most people don't have access to super clean running water. You know, food is basically you kill it, you eat it, and you kill something else the next day and you eat it. And we, you know, now we're living in a society where, you know, I've never had to kill anything in my life. You know, I've got electricity. You're hearing my voice through radio signals. You know, this is the very fact that anyone listening to this podcast is able to listen to this podcast. That at this time in space, I am using my vocal cords to vibrate, you know, atoms in the air.
You're going very up there with it.
That vibrates the microphone, which sends a signal to the computer, which we then convert to a radio frequency that we bounce off cell towers and satellites back to the computer that you're listening to that's at home, or the device, or whatever. And then that vibrates the air in the same exact way that I'm talking, and it gets to your eardrum, and you're able to understand what I'm saying. You know, I just feel like we're at a crazy level of technology, and we're like in that rebellious teenage era where we're just immature and we think we know it all, and we're gonna, you know, go through some hard times before we hit our 20s and realize, hey, maybe I don't have it all figured out, and maybe I'm just doing the best I can. And then I would even say that you probably don't even get that until like your mid-20s or 30s. And I'm not that old, so I don't know. This is just what I've heard. That you kind of start getting a grasp on life, and it's basically that nobody has any idea what they're doing. So, I don't know. I just feel like as a species, we have no idea. And we're all just a bunch of hairless monkeys, you know, like screaming at the top of our lungs for whatever it is our bodies are telling us that we want most.
I don't know. I don't know. Taking it back to the topic.
Taking it back.
About the 1%.
The 1%? Okay, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like that cynical view is dangerous.
Oh, it is. And it's so, it kills my soul, really. It does. I feel like that's part of the reason why I joke about everything, is because otherwise you look around and you're like,
it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all.
Looking at patterns, it is. You know,
I don't know.
If you're able to analyze and look at certain patterns, and I could be totally wrong. I absolutely could. I think we've got this idea from like the 50s and 60s and 70s of like this ideal American household, and it's kind of shaped that entire culture and that entire generation of people. You know, and seeing just the switch, the change in culture from World War One and pre-World War One, then to, you know, like the Great Depression and what happens in the Great Depression with everybody, like when all the resources run out, basically people, and that was, all things considered, probably a really minor event that could have happened, and it did. And the only thing that brought us back was coming together and saying, we're going to go blow up some other people's shit now. Or basically, you know. And so then that whole culture of World War II, and then after World War II, you think about the ideal, like you think about each decade and each generation and stuff like that, and how they changed and adapted, and how it's created this idea of what our culture is. I don't know 30, 40 years from now if that's going to be a thing, you know? I think we're going to basically evolve our culture in such a way that it's not sustainable. And right now, I don't think it is. I think we've already hit that point, and I don't think we're.
What makes you think that, though?
Well, every report that's coming out is saying, we've got 10 years basically to turn around global warming or whatever. They've been saying this for 30 years, and like no one's cared. No one cares at all. That's a tomorrow problem, and we only care about today problems. Or really, we only care about right now problems. Which is, am I cold? Is my stomach hungry? That's it. If neither of those two things are true, then I'm looking for the third, And once that's satisfied, what am I doing with life? I'm just trying to make sure that each of those three things is satisfied.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess my whole thing about the one, like, not redistribution of wealth is that, like, this whole experiment that we're all in is like all about like gun ho for yourself and like get it yourself and try like for yourself and not to be not to feel like someone else is doing better than you is bad.
The thing is, though, it's like if you took someone today with a high-powered automatic rifle and sent them back to medieval times. And then you tell each of the, the serfs and say, hey, you can have what he has. You just have to take it from him.
That's not how it happened, though. Someone wasn't just given a gun.
No, that's how it's gonna happen now.
How?
There's such a gap in what people can afford. Like even a 2-income household like my own, which obviously, we could have made some better financial decisions, but compared to the same situation 50 years ago, our situation where you have 2 cars and you're paying, your apartment, and they could do that off of a part-time job. Mm-hmm. Now we have to have 2 full-time jobs, and they're both fairly well-paying as far as jobs go, that even then we still kind of struggle a bit. And that's just going to get more and more and more widespread. Like, even in the last 5 years, inflation has gone up 7% or so. Probably more than that. 7, 8%. That means that compared to 5 years ago, you have about 7% less buying power. You can... The same money that you have buys less and less and less. It's just going to keep going that way until we change it. And until eventually...
And my argument is, like, we have the power to change it, Like,
how?
What's stopping us? We're the people. We can do that. That's our power.
If that's the case, then why hasn't it been changed yet?
Because we're not electing the right people, apparently.
Why not?
Because they're not the right people.
So, just getting into this real quick, how do we elect the right people?
You have to actively participate and listen and see who they are.
Well,
and judge off of that.
And would you say that when most of the people vote for a certain person, that person should become elected?
That's not our system.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So then how is this a election for the people? If you have 60% of your people voting for this certain person...
That's not accurate. That's not widespread. That is populist vote. That is democracy. That doesn't work. That is basically 2 wolves and a sheep, all 3 deciding what to eat for dinner. That's not fair to the sheep. That's not fair to everyone. But having a democratic republic is fair, and that's what the whole thing is.
The 3 wolves, or the 2 wolves and the sheep, go to the human and say, "Okay, what's for dinner?"
No, they go to the human. They go to the human, and they go to say, "You're going to decide what's for dinner."
And then one of the wolves hands the human a giant pile of money to say,
"That's not at all how it works
for sheep."
No, I'm sorry.
That's exactly what's happening.
That's not exactly what's happening.
You've got these major corporations, these major players, we'll call them, just paying off and getting whatever they want.
No.
And they're living like kings, man. We're down here in the dredges being thankful for what we have.
I respect that belief.
People in Africa have it worse.
No, I respect that belief, but I disagree, and I don't think that's true.
I'd like to think it's not true.
I don't think it happens like that at all. I feel like, of course, every government's going to have corruption and lies and deceits. But I feel like we have our system that we've set up, is so that even if there is corruption and lies and deceits, there's ways around it. There's ways to overpower it, and there's ways to get rid of it. And in a lot of other governments, that shit just doesn't exist. If you get a corrupt socialist government, you're fucked. The whole country's going down. But if you get
Our whole country's going down right now.
our country's not going down. What makes you think that our country's going down?
What makes you think it's not?
We're thriving.
How so?
How not so?
We're not even the top 25 in most educated countries anymore. We're considered a third world country of the first world countries.
No, I'm sorry.
Like every other
That's one out
first
of
world country considers us.
I'm sorry, Wes. I'm just
Our
not.
healthcare is literally the
You
worst.
can pick the outlier all you want. That's not the grandiose.
Our healthcare is the worst. Our education's the worst. Our
It's
infrastructure is crumbling
It's
and
not.
failing. Look at the roads
The infrastructure
around
is,
us.
yeah, of course.
You don't think education is?
No, I don't think education is as bad as you're saying that it is.
Why?
Because it's not. Pull up a study! We have our phones right here. Grab it.
It's okay.
I mean, we're just gonna agree to disagree.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
But I feel
I
like
applaud your optimism. I don't want to kill your sparkle. You know, I don't
Oh,
want to dull your
no.
sparkle.
Like, I know that I'm optimistic, but also there's reasons to be. You know, it's not
I mean,
just
I feel
unfounded.
like I was optimistic at one point too, and even still, a little part of me hopes for the best. I just feel like that's not gonna happen.
Dude, that sucks.
This is crazy. This is not the reason, but I feel like it's a reason why I don't want to have kids at the moment. Is because, like, who's gonna take care of this kid? You know.
You?
Well, that's the thing. You know. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I would take care of it. I just, you know, I don't even know. I can't explain what it is in my thought, but basically, you know, I'm bringing in this whole other life that's not asking to be here, and expecting it to. I'm saying, all right, I made this decision for you. Now it's your turn, since you're here, to start doing stuff. You know, and even then, what kind of role are we leading them? You know, what kind of how many resources are they going to have? You know, we're using up all the resources. They're gonna
Sure,
have
Wes,
less.
you could look at it that way, but you could also look at it as like, I'm going to bring up a human who's going to actually be something and who's going to actually try to change the world with the same values that I have, or try to, like, you know, grow them and make them a good human being. And that way, you are reducing all the evil in a way of increasing the good.
Okay.
That's such a positive way to think
So-
about it in this exact same circumstance.
Counter that argument. Why can I not be that change?
Why can't you double your numbers and have a son or a daughter or whoever?
Wow, did you just assume my son or daughter's
Your
gender?
unborn child's gender?
You just
Like,
assume
why
my unborn
not?
child's gender? God.
Why not double your numbers?
Check your privilege.
Did you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know, it's
that's
like,
best case scenario.
best case scenario.
Yeah.
How? You have a healthy child. That's best case scenario.
Well, possibly. I mean, what if I don't? What if they have some sort of disease or, you know, which is terrible?
You deal with it.
Then I have only increased the burden on society to provide for them.
That is such a stretch. No.
I have a theory, and I don't like it because it doesn't make me happy.
That
at
is
the end of the
so
day,
haunt.
that we will get to a society where if you are not actively contributing, you are not part of it.
That will never be a
I
thing.
feel like that's so dystopian, and it's
That is not a
scary.
thing. That is not a thing in the American experiment. That will never be a thing. No one would ever let that happen.
Not yet.
No one ever. That is way too far going.
It's not that far fetched.
How?
Think
People
about
don't vote all the time. and, like,
mentally
that's
handicapped people. Only in the last 20
Be
years. I
careful
would
here.
say.
You're on like mine territory. Choose your
In the
words.
last 20 years or so, this, you know, I don't want to say stigma, the idea around mentally handicapped people and, you know, like autism and Down syndrome and all these things is becoming a lot more widely, I don't want to say accepted, because it's not like it's just, you know, people don't treat
It's given
them-
its due respect. And like
right. People don't treat them as they did even,
Yeah.
you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
20, 30 years ago, you pretended like that individual didn't exist.
Yeah. And now they are people, and they
Right.
they have their own. Like, they are treated like.
Well, I mean, they're people as much as they can be. You know, obviously some people have things wrong with them where they can't do things for themselves, you know, and they do what they can, and obviously you want the best for everybody. I don't know, I feel like it's not that far-fetched that as soon as the resources run out, you know, we're going to look at these people and say, hey, you know, they're taking up just as much resources as I am, except they're not producing. I feel like people are going to, I don't want to say target them, but I mean, even old people too, you know?
It'll never get that way.
I hope not. I really do.
Especially not in our lifetimes. Come on.
Yeah, I hope not.
Why not have a child to continue your line, to continue the smart thoughts that you have?
Because what if they're not smart thoughts, number one?
They're your kid. They're going to be smart.
No, not necessarily.
I mean, you did a shit job then. That's your fault.
You can't determine a kid's
Say
smartness.
it. Finish that. Y'all. You can definitely give off your wisdom to that kid.
You can try. It's
can.
up to that kid whether they want to listen or not.
You're choosing like you're splitting hairs.
Look, this is going to sound ridiculous, okay?
Go on.
I was convinced for a really long time that I'd never be in a relationship, and I was okay with that because I would never give somebody, and this was my thought at the time, I will never give somebody that power to murder me in my sleep without my knowledge.
Do you wrong? Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna break into my house or whatever, I'm most likely gonna hear that, or you're gonna have to go through some sort of trial and tribulation where you got to pick the lock and be quiet about it. Whereas right now, there's absolutely nothing stopping Wendy from taking a big kitchen knife in the middle of the night and just going yank like that, you know.
Except the consequences that she'll face.
Well, if she doesn't care about those, then there's nothing stopping her.
Sure.
Whereas, before, if I did not allow this woman into my house, she couldn't do that without breaking in and going through even more struggle. It's the same with a kid. You can try to teach them right. Hitler's parents probably tried to teach him correctly, and
of course,
look what happened. And so, like I said, you can do your best and you can try, but that kid's not going to be guaranteed to do what you want. They're an individual person, and they're going to make their own thoughts. And if they decide they want to become a roller coaster tycoon and own the world, and that goes completely opposite of what your ideals are, then bringing a child into this world has not only decreased the amount of resources total available, it has now, you have spawned a member for the opposite team.
No. Sorry, because, sure, what you're saying is true. Your kid has their own, consciousness. They can do whatever they want. But to argue, your ideals are founded, and they're founded for a good reason. You're a good person.
I don't think so.
Well, I think you are.
I disagree.
Anyways,
I disagree.
To believe that your child would just completely ignore you and be like, fuck that motherfucker, all because Hitler existed, that is one outlier. And how many people that have like that? You can't focus on the outliers.
Why?
Good people come from good people. You're good people, so your kid's most likely.
Name me a good person.
So the 99th Wes Davis.
What have I done for society?
What haven't you done?
I haven't done anything.
I think you contribute to society every time that you pay taxes. At least,
I'm doing the bare minimum. If I was rich, I'd be able to do a lot more.
Maybe. And the rich do.
No, they don't.
They do.
I totally agree with Bill Gates. I've read that, and I don't know if this is true. I've read that when he and his wife are gone, that they're leaving each of their kids $10 million basically, and they're giving away the rest.
Yeah. They do a shit ton of philanthropy.
I think that they are a good example to follow, and they should be the example, but they are not.
And they're advocating for property taxes.
They are one out of basically everybody else.
I think they are.
No one else is doing that, really.
The way that you say no one else, a lot of people are doing so much philanthropy, Wes. A lot of people.
It's possible, and maybe we don't hear about them. But just looking at the state of the world as it is versus the state of the world as I understood it to be 10 years ago, I don't think we're doing a very good job.
I think we're doing a wonderful job. I think just back in the gap, no one talked about all the bad shit that happened. Now it's so easy to find out because information's so vast and so widespread. People are connected more than ever.
Well, that's also the problem, is that information is so widespread that there's so much information now that you get, crazy traction with ideas that shouldn't get traction. For example, and they were talking about this on the JRE, about like mass shooters and stuff like that, about how the United States is one of the only places that will publish their names, and what that does is that causes
it enforces
more
the idea
people
like I'll
to
get
come
famous.
in, right? Yeah, and that's terrible. But also, they do that because it generates revenue, because people will click on your article and read
It's
it
all about
and
the,
generate revenue.
the ads, the advertisements.
And so that's just not. There's so many things that we need to change if we're going to make it. And right now, I'm not seeing us change anything.
There's so much that's being changed for the better every day.
I hope so.
You're so cynical, and that's fine, but...
Like I say, it's hard not to be. And I've been cynical for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
I've just grown more and more cynical the more I seem to understand.
Can't relate, dude.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to say it like this.
There's like a flicker of light, of hope in me that, hey, maybe this won't turn out badly. And I try to and I blow it, and I try to fan it, and then when the winds start blowing, I kind of cover it up so it doesn't get snuffed out. I try not to. It's so much easier and so much more prevalent to be cynical.
Is it easier? I don't think it's easier. It sounds like you're pretty not okay.
Oh my god, okay.
What?
So I had this epiphany and it really pissed me off.
What?
We killed Chester Bennington. All of us did.
What? What?
Linkin Park, the lead singer
How
from
did
Linkin
we
Park.
kill Chester?
Unfortunately, he killed himself in the last few
Yes.
years, right? We all grew up with his music, okay?
Okay.
Every single song is basically a cry for help. Like, if you go back and you listen to these lyrics and you think about that, like, he's literally sitting there writing his heart out, basically saying, oh dear God, someone help me, I need help, this is crazy, life is not worth living. And we're all jamming to this as like preteens going, yeah, I love this, this is hard, this is good stuff. Literally every single song.
It's not everyone's fault.
In the end, nothing even matters. I tried so hard, got so far. In the end, nothing even matters. Paper Cut, Bleeding Out, like
Wes.
all these songs are basically like,
that's what music
I'm
is.
gonna kill myself. Oh God, someone please help. And we're all just like, yeah, I love this song. This is great. And all of a sudden he kills himself, and we're all like, what? I had no idea he had mental stability problems.
That is why Friends.
Why didn't he reach out? Why didn't he? He literally did. He wrote songs
That is why Friends and family and positivity is so important.
Josh,
because you should be able to reach out to people.
I love you. I hope that you're doing well.
I'm doing great, dude.
If you need help, don't write it in a song. Come to me.
If you need help, same. No, I mean, I feel like that is an outlet, of course, but also you should. I don't want to say that it's his fault or whatever, because it's not. But I feel like he should have the idea from his family that it's okay to talk about that, and I wish that he would have,
He tried. He tried to write out all these songs about it, and we just
personally with your family, you don't talk to them through music.
We're just
what I'm saying.
Why can't you talk to them through music? What if you have no other way? Some people are not good at talking about their feelings, Josh.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm saying that the family can create that atmosphere no matter what.
What if you have a shit family?
Your friends can.
What if you have shit friends?
You can with yourself. Your therapist. You can seek help.
Just magically fix yourself. All right,
you can seek help. Yes, that is there.
I feel like he tried to seek help through his music. I feel like he did not ever expect to get popular, and he just wrote these songs, and he goes, okay, I need help, and someone's going to listen to this. Someone's going to realize And no one ever did.
I'm sorry, no.
Everyone keeps coming up to him like, oh yeah, the song was rocking, I love it.
That's such a stretch to blame every fan of his ever on his suicide.
He's just like...
We are laughing about this poor man.
I don't think he cares.
You're going to hell.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. It's terrible. Because I do think he was a really talented artist.
He's very talented.
And it's tragic. And it's like Robin Williams, it's just tragic. Yeah. It's sad. Bad shit happens. It's really sad. All you can hope is that you get some sort of light from it, And
right.
That's kind of the whole purpose of this podcast, is that, nothing's really off limits. If I'm going to joke about Chester Bennington's suicide, then so fucking be it.
I'll be the asshole to laugh, because I laugh at everything.
Yeah, you did. You laughed. No, it's, you don't think his fans came up to him like, yeah, this is great set or whatever, and you just don't think that he's inside slowly going, God, I wish they would just ask me how I'm doing instead of saying great set,
I think.
And we're all jamming along to it like, yeah. It's like if somebody literally came out with a song, it's like, I'm gonna kill myself today. We're all like, man, that's an earworm. I like that, We're gonna...
I think...
You got these little kids humming it and stuff.
That...
Like little kids humming
he has
Ring
to
Around the
have
Rosie.
his own want, He has to have his own want to reach out more than anything. It's not anyone else's job to notice these things. If you are just so lucky to have friends and family that do, that's badass. But it's also badass for you to create that atmosphere with your friends and family and your loved ones. And your therapist to open the conversation and talk about it.
See, I kind of disagree. And to a degree. Because, obviously you're responsible for all of your own actions, right? I just think it's really hard for people to open up, And it's hard because so many people are willing to take advantage of that. That's one of the reasons why I really like working here, is because, not that I think anybody could harm me in this place, so if I did think that they could, I would not be as open as I am with them. But I feel like I can basically just be an open book here and nothing will come of it,
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I'm careful with what I share and with who.
Right, yeah.
Because there are certain individuals that I trust less than others, we'll say.
Right. But there's a closeness. There's like a unit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say I feel pretty unential,
yeah. And that's cool because like having that and being open like that and having that unity and that closeness is also your job and your friends and family's job.
But that's the thing is that, you can... Paranoia is very easy to succumb to, you know? And everyone's out to get you and all these things are stacked against you. It can very easily feel like that sometimes. And so it's very easy to, basically lock the demons away and hope that they don't get out. And I guess in his case, they got out. So
yeah, I feel like before you get to, obviously, I don't know. It's not my personal experience.
I'm gonna change topics here real quick. Speaking of demons getting out, so I think I'm gonna be remembered decades from now by my peers and coworkers because every time someone sneezes, someone else goes, "Bless you," as like a Pavlovian response.
Me.
And every time now that they do it, I go, "Yes, get the demons out, spread out the demons, exercise or whatever," and I say these things, and at first people are like, "What are you doing? You're so weird." I'm like, well, the reason we say "bless you" is because hundreds of years ago they thought that your heart stopped and that you were dying or whatever, or that you were expelling demons or bad spirits or whatever. And now we know it's because something triggered, got up in like your nasal cavity and triggered a upper respiratory reaction, and that's just your body's attempt to get it out. It's like coughing or blinking, except that we don't bless anybody for either of these. Really, all I ask for is consistency. So if we're gonna bless
people for everything,
then bless you,
thank you,
bless you.
I just blinked.
He's blinking. That's fine. You want to bless people. I don't want to take away the goodwill. I just
Seems like you do, though. That's the funny thing about
I
it.
just want to.
It seems like your cynicism can't let anyone else be positive.
for any reason, right? What I'm saying is, my response to bless you is, hey, I appreciate the sentiment, and when I say it too fast, it sounds like I appreciate the cinnamon.
Sentiment.
All right, sentiment.
I know what you're saying.
But also, if you're giving me cinnamon, I like cinnamon, especially mixed with sugar.
But
So I
the
just
fact that you make such a stance out of this makes no sense to me, because
Why?
it's like you could have so much energy elsewhere in your life that you really don't have to waste on like a bless you. It's like focus it, reallocate your resources to a better object of focus.
see, but I think that this is going to sound crazy.
Do it.
I think
Do
that
it.
that is exactly what's wrong with society. One of the things.
People saying bless you.
We do this thing because we've done this thing forever. We don't understand why we do it anymore.
I'm so sorry.
It's lost the original value. Why do we keep doing this?
No, I'm sorry. No one's like, I have to say bless you. No
Right,
one
at this
no
point,
one
it's-
thinks that.
It's Pavlovian. It's you ring the bell, bless you. There's no feeling behind this. There's no
So what, is there no feeling behind I love you?
no because that's a different thing.
How?
You don't just say I love you. Well,
You don't just say bless you.
you
That's right.
no. You don't just say
Your
I love
face.
you out of response to something else.
Do you? If someone says I love you, you don't say I love you back?
It depends on if I love them back or not.
So then it has
I've
meaning.
I've had certain people go, I love you, and I go, hey, I really appreciate that. That's very
So
kind
then
of
it
you.
has meaning is what I'm saying.
Right, bless you does not because it's literally Pavlovian.
I don't agree.
Like
Which
someone
is fine.
sneezes and the entire room just goes, bless you. Whereas if I came into that same room and I go, hey, I really love you. That's it. Like there's no
I'd be like, I love you, Wes.
there's no Pavlovian. That's because you love me, Josh. That's what I'm saying. There's meaning behind that. There's no meaning behind the bless you.
I mean, I mean it whenever I say that. I'm like, hey, I hope you're all good. Like,
Why? Why do you say it just when somebody's having an upper respiratory reaction?
Because their body just violently shook for no reason.
No, there is a reason. It's because something triggered your autoimmune response. That's it.
Right? So, like, I still can't be like, hey, I hope you're okay.
But see, that's not what you're saying. You're saying bless you.
Bless you,
You're
yeah.
saying you just had this autoimmune response. I hope the grand deity of all things shines down upon you
Bless you. Like,
and
yeah.
increases the value or
Sure, like,
your
what's so
feeling of
wrong
life.
about it? I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be Nancy Naysayer and say, oh, no one's allowed to bless anybody.
Are you sure?
I'm saying let's use it more realistically or just be more consistent,
I don't understand. Consistency is every time.
Let's stop blessing people for having normal bodily functions, or let's start blessing people for all of their normal bodily functions to see how ridiculous it is.
It's not all or nothing. It doesn't matter.
Like, if somebody does something good, bless you, or if you want to, just for no reason, just, hey, how's your day going? Bless you. I hope your day is going well. Just because you genuinely care. But as a Pavlovian response to a sneeze doesn't make any sense. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like we do this as a society where this thing is done, so we keep doing it. And that's it. And there's no real reason behind it. And it creates false sentiment, where
God forbid you feel any sentiment.
I feel like,
God forbid.
I'm in that room and they bless me for my sneeze, or they miss it and they don't bless me for my sneeze because they're busy or whatever.
Okay.
Well, now what? Do you not want to bless me?
No, you just move on with your life.
No, I'm. Why didn't I get a bless?
Why are you so
Why
cynical?
why is there? Why is there? We'll say,
If it
attractive
okay.
people.
No. Well, taking that
Attractive
argument,
people in that room, they get blessed every sneeze. I
Hang on.
sneeze and no one says anything. I know I'm not that
that
attractive, but
sentiment that you have
where's my bless, damn it?
shows that the bless you means something. Do you get what I'm saying? If it truly meant nothing, you wouldn't give a fuck if you were blessed or not.
So hold on.
Tell me I'm not correct.
Hold on.
I'm waiting for it.
You're not correct.
Oh, okay. If you feel some type of way after you don't get blessed, then that means that the bless you means something.
No.
So just let people say bless you.
That means that I'm not attractive to other people. That's what that means.
That doesn't mean anything at all.
It has nothing to do with the bless you. It could be someone saying, "Oh, hey, you sneezed," and then I'm like, "Oh, no one recognized I sneezed." But the bless you part is not the actual thing, you know? Are you looking this up on your phone right now?
No.
Okay. Josh is on his phone. He's so important, I guess. I'll just be on my phone too. No, I'm kidding. Why isn't anybody on my phone? Josh is a very attractive person, by the way, so it makes sense that he's on his phone.
Shut up. But thank you. No, so
Hey.
The fact that someone may or may not feel a type of way after they're not blessed shows that someone feels something in the interaction.
That's what I'm saying. The actual blessing, the bless you part, is the ridiculous part. And also the inconsistency between a sneeze versus a cough versus a blink versus a fart versus a... No one's blessing me for my farts, you know?
The fact that someone
If anything, people are cursing me.
So, like, okay, you as a person, if you think, oh, well, no one blessed me, that means that they actively chose not to bless you, meaning that they do actively choose to bless someone.
Or they passively
meaning
chose
that it
to
has
not.
meaning.
They passively did not choose.
So they still did not choose.
They passively did not, because I'm not attracted. Basically, the bless you is just
Because
a way.
you're just shitting yourself the whole time.
The bless you after a sneeze is a way that subconsciously you're trying to get into that person's pants, right? Like you find them attractive. You're trying to increase any reason you can to, talk to them, to interact with them. You know, you basically want them to shine their blessing down on you.
So it has.
So you invoke the name of God to shine His blessing down on them, so that maybe they'll shine theirs on you.
But the thing,
it doesn't have meaning. It doesn't.
It's that's
And
not the definition.
I'm
of
mad at-
Pavlovian, like
I'm really mad at myself because I still do it every now and then, where someone will sneeze and it just triggers, and I go, "Bless you!" Damn it! Damn it!
that doesn't make any
Ah!
that doesn't make any sense.
I hate this.
Maybe it's Pavlovian for you, whatever the fuck. But I mean, whenever I say,
You know what I
bless
mean
you.
when I say Pavlovian, right?
Yeah, like that's like the stimulation that you've learned out of like the rat with the bell, like
Right. Yeah. The Pavlov. Pavlov.
I think it's just Pavlov. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember his first name, but he had the bell. Every time he rang the bell, he'd give the dogs food, and he started noticing that he'd ring the bell, and the dogs would start salivating. You know, even
Yes,
without
that
being
means
fed.
that it's
The Pavlovian
that means that it
response.
actually is something that you just can't think about, right? But if someone thinks about not blessing you, that means they thought about it. It's not instant.
No,
It's not-
because it's your brain can only focus on certain things, right? Your brain is so very limited in what it can focus on.
Shut up.
No. this
You're
is-
really
this is
taking
legit.
this so far.
This is legit.
Your hate for bless you is so deep.
Look at Apollo Rand, I think is his name. It's Apollo something. He's basically the world's greatest pickpocket. He does a really excellent TED Talk
I think I know
where
what you're
he steals a guy's
gotta
wallet,
touch the
keys.
shoulders,
Right.
yeah.
He's
Oversensory.
distracting this guy's brain and taking things that would otherwise alert his brain.
Sure, Wes, but that
That's
doesn't mean
what I'm
that
saying,
someone's
that-
choosing not to bless you.
It's not that they're choosing not to bless me, it's that they are engaged in something else. I'm not as high priority in their brain as someone else that they would bless, so I don't get to bless you. They continue working on what they're doing. That lets me know the hierarchy there, which
so
inherently
then it
isn't-
means something.
It isn't a bad thing. Just the action does. The actual bless you part doesn't. That's why I've started to say, hey, I appreciate the sentiment, because
the action is bless you.
it's regardless.
We are taking this so far.
I think we should stop blessing people for no reason.
I think bless you is a very sweet thing. That's what I think.
Well, it depends on the context, because Southern old ladies, that's the best way to curse you.
No,
is to
Wes,
say,
it's
"Bless
either
your
all
heart."
or nothing. Either all bless yous are good or all bless yous
No,
are bad.
see, it's
apparently.
all about context.
Well, then why is it all about context whenever you want all motor functions to be blessed or no motor function?
Because the context there is... Alright, so think about the context when an old lady says, bless your heart. They're saying that, not in the, oh, I actually hope that God blesses them. It's the, wow, they're doing something wrong. I hope God lets them know how wrong they are so that they fix it, so that they stop making God cry. Right. You know, if they, you know, for example, oh, did you see what Betsy was wearing today? I can't believe her father let her out in such short shorts, bless his heart. That's basically the FU to the father for letting his daughter walk out in their eyes like a tramp.
Yeah, but no one says any of that shit with a bless you.
That's because it doesn't matter. The context there is, I'm having this bodily function. Since we've been trained from birth.
The eye roll that you just did whenever you said trained. Since we've been trained from work.
To say this phrase without even thinking about what it means, without even thinking about why we're saying it, is the very same context that it doesn't matter. Like, why do we do this?
I think
it diminishes the real bless yous.
I don't agree.
Because Josh says that he'll come up and say, oh, Wes, I'll just come up and say bless you. Josh has never said that in a conversation. He's never just said... He says similar things like, hey, I hope you're doing well, or whatever. Or, you know, the random text at 3 a.m. when he's drunk and he's like, Wes, you're the best, and I miss you. No, he's never done that.
Wes, I bless you often if you don't hear it or
That's
not.
because I sneeze often, yeah.
You saying that like there's no thought process about someone saying bless you, it's like it's obviously that there is a thought process, because you don't just like accidentally say bless you. If someone's body convulses, you're like, bless you, child.
But they don't when it coughs. It's like the same convulsion.
I have blessed you for coughs all the time, and in fact you get bothered. God bless you. You get so bothered by it, actually. Wes is looking at me and be like, that was a cough. And I'm like, I'm sorry, jeez.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter either. It doesn't matter!
We're so extra.
This is so ridiculous.
We were 1 hour and 21 minutes in.
I think that's a good cutoff point. We've talked about all the
Yes.
conspiracies and how nothing matters, and now how bless yous are diminished because we do it when we sneeze. Like,
I'm literally coming out of this being like, Wes is such a cynic.
I tried to tell him at the very beginning. I was like, all right, real cynical here.
Just warning you. No. I feel like there's doses of cynicism and positivity in your life, of course.
I think that you're a good source of positivity. I think that Wendy is a good source of positivity too. Obviously, much more of a source of positivity than
I
you.
definitely have my own cynicisms, don't worry.
Really? Like what?
The train? No.
Train?
We're not starting this conversation.
All aboard the Cynic train! Choo choo!
No, I wonder if they can pick up the train, actually. They probably can.
Let us know in the comments if you can pick up the train. Because...
All three of our viewers.
Yeah. This train is so ridiculous. Just really quick, this train in Reston is so ridiculous because Reston's it's about 3 miles wide, whatever, and you can hear this train for like 20 to 30 miles. And it's funny because you can physically hear when the train is going fast enough that it is like you can hear it on the tracks, because now it's starting to pick up speeds out of town. You can still hear the horn. Like, there's not another train crossing for miles.
Yeah, I know.
It's already out of the city. It's
heating.
literally picked up speed. We can still hear it honking its horn.
It's almost like he's like, these motherfuckers are not at work, and I am.
It's like this train just coming by. And obviously, before you get there, it's to alert people
Right, of
that
course.
you're coming.
What about after?
But he's past, and there's nothing past that he's going to run into.
I wonder.
He's just saying, like, I'm a train! Don't forget I was a train!
I wonder, like, what the actual rules are. I'm sure that there are rules.
Yeah, it's probably within a certain diameter.
Like a radius.
Just in case, which I get it, But also, I feel like you really gotta want to be killed by a train. To be killed by a train.
Everyone who's had a family member that had passed away by train right now listening is just like, fuck that guy.
Look,
I'm just busting your balls, dude.
Obviously shit happens. Yeah. It's bad when that does. But I feel like as far as dying in an accident goes, or dying in a vehicular homicide, we'll say, obviously it's so much more difficult to control that.
Vehicular manslaughter.
Right. Whatever it is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Vehicular
premeditated. Okay.
Vehicular death, right? Okay. Bless you.
Keep going.
Okay. It's so much more difficult to control when it's two cars, you know, because somebody could run the red light that you didn't see and they T-bone into you and you're dead.
Yeah.
With a train, I feel like it's a lot harder because they only show up at certain locations at certain times, and there are guardrails, you know, between, and that I've never been in this situation, so you know, obviously I don't know what goes on through your head, but when you're sitting there for 15 seconds watching the train come at you, you're like, well, that's it. I'm dead. There's literally nothing I can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Still nothing. I've got about 10 seconds left.
Just could not run.
Nope. 5.
No, I definitely
and 4,
understand what you're saying.
3. It's almost here.